I feel happy, I feel healthy, and I feel terrific. Welcome to Martial Art Leadership Training. This is Master Jeon, and this leadership training is brought to you by American Martial Arts Association. We hope everything is well with you and your family. We also hope everyone is safe and healthy. We're going to start the leadership training number 2. As we all know, this presentation is specifically for young adult Taekwondo practitioners. Many referred theory and situation are from martial art school operation and my experience, and we will build our leadership skill by martial art and Taekwondo trainings. I also want you to know I'm Korean master who have been living in America for over 17 years. Since I was born and raised in Korea and my primary language is in Korean, some contents may have some translation errors which might be perceived differently than I intend to say. I hope you understand that positively in case it occurs. If anything that you need additional information, please contact me or leave a comment below. I will try my best to explain to you. Leadership training number 2, we're going to talk about happy and successful life today. What do you value the most in your life? Family and friends, or academic accomplishments, or making a lot of money? What makes you happy? What makes you feel that you're living successful life? We all have a different opinion on this. Some may think family is most important. Some may think studying and academic accomplishment is most important. Some may think money is important, yes, or something else. Some may think, oh, I love car. It could be all different answers. So there's no right and wrong answer. We'll take a look at some of the theories and see ideas about happy and successful life. Before we get to that, I want you to take a look at this slide. Having a leadership equals having a strong hardware in life. What does that mean by having a strong hardware? It's like a computer. Many of you are playing and enjoying computer games, right? In order for you to enjoy the computer games, which are run by software, you need to have a computer with advanced hardware. So in Taekwondo leadership, having a consideration and understanding, also positive attitude and characters, those things are the things that we like our student to build in order for them to have a strong hardware. All these little skills like kicking and punching, those are software, I believe. Let's put in perspective that we're having a special event such as a belt promotion test. When you're preparing it, you probably have an absolute positive intention. Far left bottom, you have a positive intention. That's where you start. When around this time, you probably have an idea about how do we prepare this event. You want this event to be full with the happiness, joyfulness, and great memory. So all these pictures probably drawn before you start. Those things will be in your planning period, and you'll probably have a lot of thoughts, so a lot of positive intentions. Once you put that into an action, we call it input with a consideration. This consideration means you are preparing a lot of details, and then you probably want to imagining yourself and getting a new belt and getting awards, right? So for example, you are preparing an awards and these kiddos are so excited and thrilled to receive this award. You don't want to keep them wait for a really long time, and then parents are taking about to take picture, and you don't want them to um, wait in the line for like more than 5 minutes. So all these little things need to be in the consideration. All these details has to be in order so that all these awards and belts will be presented at right timing. This consideration could be attention to details. Once you prepare those things and execute it well, then we will have a positive outcome. Recipients love that environment and they impressed, they got motivated. Then the last one, you have accomplished your goal. You have a positive contribution to the individual and the community, and family, and society. Then it leaves all other things may come along. So that's why having a strong hardware, which is having a consideration, understanding, and positive attitude and character, that'll help you to accomplish all these goals that you may have for you to be successful, and that could be helpful for you to be happy. So next, along the way, you'll probably have a lot of experiences. Some may good, some may not be good. Can we judge what happened to one's life as good or bad at this time, especially young age? Can any failure help your future, and how? How do you make your experience valuable? This is probably the one of the three most important question before we judge whether this is a good experience or bad experience. Oh, I had a good time, I had a bad time, or any learning opportunity, any training opportunity that you're involved in. So I want you to take a look at here, bottom blue box, blue and gray box. Leadership training equals weight training in life. All these athletes, they would like to outperform. So other than they're doing their skill training, they're constantly doing their weight trainings. Leadership training is a weight training in life. In Taekwondo, this leadership training allows you to build a strong mentality to turn any experience to be useful for your future. So let's take a look at those other examples. So we hear a lot of times that, great success with a failing experience, right? In order for you to build a real leadership, you also have to understand this. I'm not saying that you all need to have pretty bad experience at this time or failure experience, but I want you to take a look at this video clip.
Dismissed from drama school with a note that read, "Wasting her time. She's too shy to put her best foot forward." Turned down by the Decca Recording Company, who said, "We don't like their sound and guitar music is on the way out." A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent. At 38 years old, he went to work for his father as a handyman. Cut from the high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas. His fiancée died, he failed in business twice, he had a nervous breakdown, and he was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never lived.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed the short video clip, and there are a lot of famous people named or referred in the video. This short video shows that successful people overcame their failures. They took risk of failure, embarrassment, they endured it, and they have accomplished what they want to become. Jobs message number 1, connecting the dots. Basically, he was saying every experience is worthy. So he was talking about his personal life, starting the moment that he was born, college dropout experiences, and taking interesting courses and other life experiences. 10 years later, it came all along to their the Mac computer building, Macintosh back then. So here, if you see this picture here, then you see a lot of dots over there, and I want you to clearly understand. Um, let's see. When you're learning language, this is a probably one way to explain this thing. So let's say you're learning A, B, C, D alphabets first, and later on, around kindergarten time, right? You start building a the words. So those alphabets kind of like connected together, right? And juggling connected together, and then you're learning alphabets. Then alphabets, you're trying to connect together and make a words. And then later on, you see the word, and then you'll be able to read it. So let's say those A, B, C, D is experiences. And then those experiences kind of like a connecting each other. For example, you are doing Taekwondo right now, and you are taking this leadership classes. And then you have at least learned how to connect these things. Later on, then you get a job or you were hired somewhere, and this may come out. Wow, all of a sudden, all the experiences, plus what I just say, plus all these other instructors have taught you, it just came, boom. I kind of know what it is. So this is the message of his connecting dots. These little dots, looking back when he was already building the Macintosh computer, then it all came back. So now we get to use it. So he made a contribution to the whole world. The message that he was trying to convey to us. Very, last sentence he was mentioning. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So, even this moment, I really want you to think this could help somehow, somewhere, somewhat in your life in the future. I hope you get that message. So, next part. Message number two, love and loss. He was basically saying, find what you love. Um, Opportunity comes and go. You do what you love to do, and you do it great. Then great opportunity will come eventually. That's my understanding. I want you to take actually, if you paid attention, he said that was and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. So, age 17, he go to college and he dropped out, right? About like a year and a half. He was kind of like hanging out over there and then taking classes. But then he actually built a company within a couple years, right? So, Mr. Steve Jobs actually had a founded company, and this company he hired, as he was growing, and then he hired somebody that he can run with the company together. And later on, he's actually get fired. That experience actually helped him to do something else. If you look at it here, he built a old Apple logo here, and then he got fired, and he moved on to his new company Next and Pixar Animation Studios in Hollywood. And the Apple bought a Next, and then he came back to Apple. I mean, he was basically saying he loves what he's doing, right? But all this his other experience actually helped the Apple's renaissance, and Apple became a huge company after he came back um, with those experiences and technology that he had built while he was gone from Apple. So first, you gotta have to find what you love. Then you gotta have to stick to it. You will have a great opportunity. So Steve Jobs message number two: find what you love, and then trying to keep looking, keep looking. If you're not truly find what you love to do, then keep looking. Don't settle. Keep looking means, I would say, keep trying things. You never know what you really like. And then keep trying to search and study, find ways of enjoying things, what you're really enjoying. I mean, you never know. You never know what you really like. A lot of times I ask those kind of questions. Hey, what do you like? What do you like to do? I don't know. Those are the answer to the question that I usually get. You probably want to ask those questions and explore yourself, and then reading the book that expand your knowledge. You're indirectly experience other people's life as well, so you may be able to find what you really like to do. Okay. Okay, let's talk about Steve Jobs message number three. It's again, I mean, very few people can tell this kind of a story, see death a little bit differently. And then when you're facing those kind of the death directly, indirectly, a lot of people looking at the whole entire life differently, and then they're prioritizing what's most important. And then all of a sudden, you probably think that something that you're doing is not necessary. You just just clear up the those things, and you're focusing on important things. I think that's why this message is very touching to a lot of us. Our time is limited, and you don't want to waste your time. That's what he was basically saying. So, and during the his speech, he said something about when he was 17, he read one article saying that if you live each day as if it was your last day, someday you will most certainly be right. I think I heard something very similar to this. You take this one as a like today is the last day, then what would you do? What would you be doing, right? And you probably uh didn't really think about it. I mean, think something like this, give ourselves a question, something like this, kind of see our life a little bit differently, daily life a little bit differently. So take a look. Your time is limited, so don't waste maybe 100 years, right? Um, and then I'm almost going toward a half of it. Um, you're just started, okay? But if you look back, some of you lived around like, I mean, 1/10 of it. Some of them a little bit more than that. Even though this message was given to Stanford University graduation, but it gives us a lot of great message. So I want you to just again take a moment and think what he was truly saying. And last session, we're talking about the life timeline, and then specific event, and how we're gonna accomplish those goals. What do you have to do, and things like that. So just going back and then take a look at what you were doing probably from last session. If you haven't come to our last session, probably I will post a link about the last session, so you should be able to take a look at it. Now let's go back here. Did he live a successful life, or did he live a happy life? If I don't know, when you have a chance, just read a book of Steve Jobs, also movie. My personal opinion, he lived in a successful life. Did he live a happy life? I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but we can all tell he lived in a successful life. Again, this is a totally personal opinion, and he was working, always busy. That's what I kind of feel. Once you become a owner of one company, then you have to be really thinking a lot. Some of your parents are owning the company, or run company, or even small company. I mean, small shops. If your parents are running, then you can tell they're busy, always busy. It's just normal, and hopefully, I mean, this lesson is kind of like giving you a little bit understanding about happy and successful. The definition of happy and successful. Is happy, successful, is that equal? 2012 Happy Planet Index. If you look at this, the top ranked countries, and Costa Rica and Vietnam, Colombia, Belize, and El Salvador. I mean, the people in those countries, they're the, one of the, I mean, those are the top ranked happiest people. And when I look at these countries, it doesn't really relate it to the money or success. Those countries are, somewhat not too developed, but their people are happy. So the value of their happiness is probably different from what most Americans, right? By the way, United States ranked at 105th out of almost 200 countries. Interesting, right? This is just, just something to think about, okay? Is happy equals successful? Now, I just really want you to take a look at this, okay? Because message number one, he was talking about he dropped out of college and things like that, right? A lot of my students, they're kind of like saying, oh, if I have a skill, then I probably would not go to college, and I would like to just, open a company like Steve Jobs and, Mark Zuckerberg, and I'm going to open my own company. I'll be successful. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not giving you any kind of like bad or negative feelings about it. I would like to give you a some idea. Okay. So warning: college dropout will not make you success. Okay. If you look at this, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, right, CEO and founder of Facebook. We just talked about Mr. Steve Jobs, founder of Apple. Mr. Bill Gates, you all know, right? And Microsoft, and Mr. Travis Kalanick. He's a CEO and founder of Uber. Okay, and if you don't know Mr. Larry Ellison, Mr. Larry Ellison is a CEO and founder of Oracle company. It's a software company, and all of them are billionaires, right? And then plus all of them are college dropouts. Now, here's the important part. Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates, they're Harvard dropouts. Okay, so before they drop out, they actually made it to Harvard. Mr. Travis Kalanick, he is a dropout of UCLA computer engineering major. Larry Ellison is a dropout of University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and one of the finest engineering school over there, and parents want him to become a doctor, and so he also studied in University of Chicago. That's actually one of the finest school in the nation. So all these people actually they have made it to the college, the finest college first, and then they thought that this is not important. Like I said earlier, Mr. Steve Jobs, he built his company age 20, and they're his parents' garage, right? You want to know here something, important story. So one of the interesting thing that you probably want to hear, is that both Steve Jobs and Bill Gates were born 1955, and all the personal computer actually, was actually made and then available to public was around like a 19 late 1970s or 80s, right? So around your age, Mr. Both Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they had an access to the computer. So by the time they were going to college and things like that, they already spent a lot of times in the computer related work, and then which nobody was able to access, or nobody had those kind of opportunity. So by the time they became adult and then doing all this work or running the company, they had a most experience than any other people in the world. Okay, Steve Jobs' record doesn't show any kind of major that he did. Um, he probably really interested in those kind of like computer related work anyways. So they probably did not have a lot of sources or professors who can teach them or give them enough information to cover their curiosity. Mark Zuckerberg, he already had a Facebook already built, and then that was specifically for Harvard students, and boom, available to public and things like that. Now he's one of the youngest billionaire. Okay, so in conclusion, so these people they have prepared, they had a necessary experience for their success, and they were doing what they love to do. That's how they became a billionaire, even though they quit college. Okay? If you have an uncertainty in your life, I want you to keep looking by studying hard and build your hardware and build your knowledge base, be creative and stick to your work. Then you can do all these great things later on. So that's why I think building a strong hardware, strong foundation is important. Now let's take a look at next slide. This is a success keyword we found from warriorsforum.com, and this is the top 100 keywords in Think and Grow Rich. So the book Think, Grow Rich was written by Napoleon Hill, and he was a reporter long time ago in New York. He spoke with Mr. Carnegie, and he started research all these rich people in the world, and that's how this book came from. Okay, so he basically researched and studied about the rich people's behavior and then their thinking, the way they act, and things like that. So, keywords that were used in the book. The most used word is mind. Mind. It was referred 480 80 times, and then a lot of action word. Okay, just go through all these 100 words what they've been using. Now, before we give you a conclusion, happy, success, and leadership in life, again, um, there are so many resources about happiness and success and leadership and things like that. It's available online. I'm trying to connect those things into your training, the Taekwondo training. As a person who lived in this country with a multiple culture, and I have run the business and get to the certain point, and I have trained the leadership in taekwondo, so I'm trying to use my experience and knowledge to share with you all and giving you some idea about you as a taekwondo student about I'm giving you a little idea to you as a taekwondo student about the happy success and leadership, all this thing. So here in conclusion, you must find what you love to do and learn things with open mind, because these any kind of experience will be useful. Positive mental attitudes will allow all these things are possible. Of course, you need to be prepared. Live your life, don't live other people's life. You must lead yourself in order to be a leader who can influence others positively. So therefore, I believe that having a happiness and success is not really equal. But then, if you are doing what you love to do and then you're successful at it, then you will you'll feel probably happy about it, about what you did. So, in order for you to success in your life, certain degree of leadership and certain degree of discipline required in order for you to keep up. So these three things are the most important thing that you have to probably balance it out, especially living in America, especially you being Taekwondo students. I really want you to have that concept, because this concept will give you strong foundation for you to become happy, successful person. Those foundation will impact and influence other individual, other family, community, and society. So you automatically become a leader, right? So let's move on. Workshop number 2. After this lesson, I want you to go ahead and take a look at, just do this thing. What is most important thing in your life? And what is second important thing in your life? Third, what is third important thing in your life? It's not important at all to you, but you're doing every day. I want you to find out and give answers to yourself. And this will help you to have a better life. Thank you. See you next time. Please leave any question and or comments with your email address. I will try my best to answer to your questions. I hope you enjoyed the session and lesson, and we'll see you